Well, it's basketball playoffs. Kobe and the Lakers against Carmelo and the Denver Nuggets, and here I am in here, and it's the fourth quarter in a barn burner. But I want to get these done. I want to talk about meeting some high schoolers there at Elkhart. I don't know, it might have been one of my early return trips. Might have been when we came back a time or two from Greeley. But at some point I got to meet Bob BOALDIN and Don GILLASPIE. I believe they were working for the school. If they weren't, they were doing something up there associated with athletics. At any rate, I saw them on the campus. And they were very curious to meet me, although really they weren't very interested in me. They wanted to ask me about these new coaches that were coming in. These boys were going to be seniors. Their big seasons were coming up. They had lots of questions about coaches. Told them a little bit that I knew and that I had confidence in them and that I thought they would like their new coaches. And I don't remember what it was that came up, but something came up, and particularly Bob BOALDIN spoke to the fact that this is a kind of a mess that needs to be cleaned up, brightened up. It would be nice if it could be made to look better. And whatever it was, I thought he was right and arranged that that got done. I think I made a point or two with him. He probably doesn't remember it any better than I do. I don't even remember what it was. But it was one of the little things we did to kind of brighten the place up and make it clear that somebody new was there and taking notice of things. Well, it wasn't very long after that when I had a visit. A young man came up to the school. Mrs. Menifee, the school secretary that I haven't gotten around to introducing on tape yet, came into my office and said, "There's a young man here who would like to see you. Do you want to see him now, or should I have him make an appointment?" "Oh, send him in, send him in." Jack NEWHOUSE. Jack was younger. I think he was coming into the sophomore year. I think he just hit 16. And he had some urgent business in mind. He came to make a plea. Please. He'd heard or read that not only was the campus going to be closed as far as driving cars at noon, but if you didn't live a fair distance away from school, you weren't to drive to school. Again, cut down on the risk, cut down on the dangers associated with kids and cars. You know, it was a problem then. I realize it's much more of a problem today. He said, "You have to let me drive. I just got my car. I have to drive it to school." "Jack, where is it you live?" He was honest, told me where he lived. "And how far is that from school?" He was honest and told me, and it was outside or inside the limit. He was too close. I said, "Jack, no, you can't drive your car to school." Well, Jack was not a happy camper, but he was just as polite. He made his best case. He wasn't happy when he left, but he was never rude. A well-raised young man. I got to know Jack a lot better as time went by. There'd be another story or two about him. Well, the next one and the last one I'm going to talk about, I thought was really strange. I didn't meet the boy. I met a mother that made an appointment. Came in. I believe she made an appointment. Maybe she dropped in. In any event, she was in my office, and she made very clear why she was there. She was there because she wanted to set the record straight that her boy was picked on by my predecessor and by the staff. That there could be something going on, several kids involved, but that her boy Butch, this was Mrs. Hitchcock that was in, her boy Butch got singled out and punished a lot of times for just whatever was going on. Well, of course, I hadn't heard the name Butch Hitchcock, hadn't heard Mrs. Hitchcock or Miller's name, knew nothing about them at all, and I, again, a little suspicious about the fact that one boy really gets picked on more than others, but sometimes that does happen. So I, assured her that, we tried to see to it that Jack got a fresh start this year, and she seemed satisfied and left. I thought it was strange she didn't bring him in with her, but she didn't. We're going to end it right there, but we won't get very far into the school year, and you'll be hearing the name Butch Hitchcock again.